now you're able to tell your side of the story here. So you've successfully pitched on Dragon's Den, and as we were talking, you let me know that there was about an hour and a half pitch, and obviously that the way that they filmed it was like very dramatic, very for TV. So can you share your thoughts, like right before stepping on stage, the process, and then afterwards?
Yeah, well, they were like, Adriano was supposed to come on with me, actually. Like, he was with me. He's been helping out for years with this. And so he was with me for the whole process, but they cut him out. They were like, no, he can't come in. It's very scripted. It's TV. Mm-hmm. And so I think take everything with a grain of salt there.
So even you like knew the questions beforehand?
No. Scripted in the sense of like, when I did something like I went to the vault to call my dad to talk about the offer, they cut that whole part out. Oh. And so it was very much, okay, everybody stop. And everybody stops. And the dragons all start like going on their phones and like just hanging out. And I'm like, what is going on? They're like, okay, bring the camera and go over here. And it's like, I get it. But it just is, it's very dramatized for no reason. Mm-hmm. And I think that they're cutting things and reactions. And if you're standing there an hour and a half almost, you're going to make some stumbles. And I think it was a lot of fun for the experience of it. And I think we're super lucky and happy that we got the chance to go on. It's really funny though to see sometimes how they portray things and how they cut and cutting out answers to certain questions. Yeah. Or when I asked Arlene Dickinson a couple questions because she was kind of badgering me hard about some things, and they cut all that part out. And it just, these things are relevant, but again, you kind of give that up when you sign your life away to do this. So we totally understood that. And actually we kind of felt we got off easy. Like we kind of got the best scenario possible, a deal that wasn't really great for us that we were able to reject. And we still got the opportunity to go on and have some of this press. So it was a fantastic opportunity. I just feel lucky to be on. Like I remember growing up watching it, and I think it was exciting for me. I just had a smile for most of the time on, and they were all very, very nice. Like no one was really pushing us that hard. I think even at the end when they're like, oh, you should have taken this deal, it wasn't, there was no dramatic music going on. It was very much more like amicable. Hey, we think you should have taken that. And it's like, well, if I have investors that have put more money in at a better valuation, why am I taking this deal? It's not only going to screw them over, it's going to make me look really bad.
Exactly.
For giving up a quarter of the company. It just makes no sense. And I think people were giving me flack of like, oh, why would you turn down 300? Adriano was teasing me about it. It's like $300K, you can do a lot. But it's like, you're giving up a ton of control of the company.
Exactly. And I remember like, because I watched it prior to this, and I remember like, I saw you like doing your thing, and they asked a question, and you had a reaction, but it looked like it was out of place. So clearly, like you said, for an hour and a half they're filming, and they just put that one in. Like
they weren't as smooth as they thought with it, because I got like 5 or 6 people being like, "Hey, I could tell they cut it."
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, my reaction is not like these are I was ready for all these questions. I felt good about it. And I think they made me look like I had like a deer in the headlights look of like,
yeah.
Like and it's like, no,
it's probably just walked in.
I zoned.
Time,
yeah,
lights,
exactly.
Lights,
I had zoned out maybe for a question, or I was thinking about something, and it is what it is. I was very happy with the result actually. And we got hammered by CBC actually on it. They interviewed us.
Yeah.
Because Arlene had called us, a little arrogant in one of the things.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. She said something about that.
But it was the context. I'm trying to remember. I haven't watched it in a month. The context was super important. It was because she kind of insinuated it gently, but I was like, no, we're not. And actually Wes had defended us. He said, I don't think you guys are arrogant at all. I think you're confident and you're coming in here. And they made it look like he was really hard on us at the end.
Yeah, they did.
And so it is what it is. Like I thought we had done well. I was very like, because we got investment the day before as well. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of gave me this ability to just say no.
And to walk away.
And to walk away. And that comment, I think, was in response to something I'd said about how other investors had put money in at a better valuation. So it was the type of thing where it just didn't make any sense.
But they did make it feel a little bit like you were like, hey, they did this before.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
But it is what it is. The only other thing about that was I think Arlene was saying something about how I had mentioned we had gotten more traction than other companies who had raised more money and we hadn't raised, and they had cut that part out. And they had just made it look like, oh, I had said we're like those companies, we could raise a ton of money. And she's like, oh, well, they will fail. And it's like, yes, companies that raise hundreds of millions can also fail, but we have raised $0 before that point when we launched, and we succeeded more than those companies did. So I thought that had mattered, but it's the type of thing, sometimes it gets lost on them too, and you don't want to have to explain it over and over. They interrupt you constantly.
Of course.
So you can't really finish the thought. And I was told as well to not kind of try to go back or don't talk over them. So just stop talking when they interrupt you and let them go with it.
And so they say a lot of like all these shows, there's like what the Shark Tank effect, the Dragon's Den effect did you experience some of that?
Definitely. We monitored analytics on our website. It spiked like crazy on the first night. It wasn't as much as you might think though, because the viewership, like it's cable TV. You don't have that many people who are it's not like a big Netflix premiere where you can see the viewers. And so we kind of didn't really know what to expect. It's all estimates. It's like trying to gauge who's listening in on radio. How do you do that?
Yeah, exactly.
And so a lot of the times the networks don't share the numbers, especially when they're not really great. And so we had a ton of traffic on our website. We have like a sign up list to download what product that we're working on the app. We had a lot of sort of this suite ready. And it definitely got a ton of traffic from that, but it wasn't actually as much as I thought it would be. Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting to kind of see how that
it could also be like
reacts.
Because if you had a physical product, people would be buying right away. But because it's more of like the idea, it's the press aspect of it.
And I think that's why we got on, because we were a little different. A lot of companies are trying to sell something. So we went on there to raise money, which is the whole point of the show. Mm-hmm. And so I think they liked that because we were genuinely trying to. I had a really
some
fair
companies
ask.
They
don't actually want it. So they'll go on there, they'll do some crazy valuation just to get rejected just because they want the press. But